Hi, this is Mrs. Cotter. We're going to be going over week 5, day 5. So let's look at the fluency first. So it says using the digits 1 to 9 at most one time each, fill the boxes below to create the smallest possible difference. So we want to try to put the numbers 1 to 9 and use the numbers only once. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the number 9 because I want to have the smallest possible difference. I don't want to have a big gap in between the numbers. So I'm just going to go 9, 8, 7. So I can't use these numbers again. And remember, I'm starting with a bigger number because in a subtraction problem, you have to have the bigger number first. And then I'm just going to go down. So 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. So I'm using the numbers once, and then when I subtract them, 987 minus 654, we can do this problem together with 7 minus 4, 3. What's 8 minus 5? Also 3, and 9 minus 6 is 3. So the difference between 987 and 654 is 333. Now you can play around with different numbers, and I encourage you to play around with different numbers and use different numbers 1 through 9, making sure you start with a bigger number than this, and see if there's a smaller difference other than 33. See if you get a smaller number than 333. See which numbers worked for you to get the smallest number in between these two bigger numbers right here in your subtraction problem. All right, let's move on. So number 1 says the shape represents the given unit fraction. Estimate to draw a possible whole. Draw a number bond that matches. So here's the shape. The unit fraction for the shape is 1/5. So this whole entire shape is going to equal 1/5. Now they want us to draw a whole. So that means that I have to look at my bottom number, which is 5. I have to have 5 of this pieces of this shape to get 5/5. Remember, when we have the same number on the top and on the bottom, that always equals 1 whole. So let's look at this shape right here. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's good. They have 5 pieces of this shape. Each of these shapes equal 1/5. Each diamond. So I'm going to write 1/5 in each diamond. So I know that the diamond equals 1/5. Or not the diamond, the pentagon, I should say. So now I have 5 pieces, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And if I was to add the top, 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1, that would equal 5. And the bottom number never changes, so that is also 5. So that gives me 1 whole. This is a shape that I drew. They also asked to draw a number bond. So this we did in week 5, day 2, where we had 1, and we have 1/5 5 times because 5 1/5 will equal 1 whole. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They made 5 1/5. That equals 1 whole. All right, we're going to move on. Now, number 2 says, Kathy and Laura uses this shape. This is our diamond right here. To represent the unit fraction 1/4. I'm going to circle that because that's important. They each use it to draw the holes below. James say they both did it correctly. Do you agree with him? Explain your answer. So let's look at Laura's shape here. So remember, in 1/4, for it to equal 1 whole, we have to get to 4/4. That means that it has to have 4 pieces of the diamond. So let's look at Laura's shape first. She has 1, 2, 3, 4 diamonds, which is good. So each of these equal 1/4. and they're all the same equal size. So this equals 4/4. So Laura did it correctly. Now let's look at Kathy's shape. So I see in the front that she has a diamond here and the 2 diamonds, and they both equal 1/4. But when I look at the back, I think the ones in the back are diamonds, but I'm not sure because it doesn't really look equal and I can't see the whole entire shape. And that's because they're overlapping. And since they're overlapping, I don't know if they're equal sizes. So I'm not going to say that this equals a whole because I have to be able to see all of the pieces just like Laura's shape to see that it's 4/4. So no, I don't agree with James that they're both correct because Kathy's shape is overlapping and that shows me that I don't know that they're equal sizes. But Laura's is correct because I see all of the pieces and I also see that she has 4 pieces. They all equal 1/4. That gives me 4/4 and she showed me the right way to do it. All right? So we got to make sure, even though it looks like she did it correctly, you got to make sure that you can see all the pieces because I don't know if this is a full diamond because I can't see the whole entire thing because these 2 in the front are covering it. All right, let's move on. Okay, let's look at this one. It says each shape represents a unit fraction. Draw a picture representing a possible whole. So here is the trapezoid that they use that equals 1/7. Just like in the examples that we did before, we're looking at the bottom number and we have to get to 7/7. That means that they have to have 7 pieces of this shape and we got to make sure they're not overlapping. So let's make sure that they have 7 pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so they have 7 pieces. Now, it almost looks like these aren't the same shape, but they are because if you look at it upside down, and they actually wrote the numbers upside down, which is a little funny, that they are the same shape. They just put it upside down. So each trapezoid does equal 1/7, so it does equal 1 whole. So let's look at number 2. We have to get to 9/9 for it to equal a whole. That means that it needs to be 9 pieces. So let's see our possible answer here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They have 9 pieces and each piece is going to equal 1/9. Now I'm not going to write 1/9 in every single one because that's going to take too long. All right, so each piece does equal 1/9. All right, and they all equal the same size. All right, let's look at number 3. It says, Eileen and Jack use the same triangle representing the unit fraction 1/4 to create one whole. Who did it correctly? Explain your answer. So I'm going to look at Eileen's first. So if she's using she is using a triangle, and we have to make sure that she has 4 pieces because remember, it has to be 4/4, 4 pieces, and each piece has to equal 1/4. So let me count her triangles. 1, 2, 3, 4. She did use 4 pieces, and each triangle is going to equal 1/4. So she did it correctly, and I can see all the pieces are not overlapping. Let's look at Jack's. Well, Jack, 1, 2, 3, 4, also used 4 triangles. Each one equals 1/4. And they're not overlapping, so he also did it correctly. I'm in trouble writing 1/4 over here. Oh, let's try that again. 1/4. There we go. All right. So actually, Eileen and Jack, they both did it correctly. So you can explain your answer and write a sentence that Eileen and Jack both did it correctly and explain how they did it correctly. Explain that they used 4 triangles, that each one equals 1/4, and they will end up equaling 1 whole, which is also 4/4. All right, let's move on. It says each shape represents the given unit fraction. Estimate to draw a possible whole. So our first one is 1/2. let's look at the bottom number. We have to have 2 pieces. So I have 1 piece here, and now I have 2 pieces. And kind of doesn't look like the same size, but try my best. And they both equal 1/2. I have my 2 pieces, and this would equal 2 halves, which also equals a whole. All right, let's look at number 2, 1/6. So again, I'm going to look at my bottom number, which is 6. I need to make sure I have 6 pieces. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Good. And then each one equals 1/6. And you can write 1/6 in each one. And then when you would add the ones up on top, it will equal 6/6, which also equals a whole. All right, let's look at number 3. 1/3 is 1/3. So this triangle is 1/3. Now I'm going to write it like this first to help me, because I need to know that I need 3 pieces. So 1, 2, 3. And each piece equals 1/3. And if I equal the ones on top, that's going to equal 3. And the bottom number stays the same, so it would be 3/3, which also equals 1 whole. The last one is 1/4. Again, I'm going to write it in my fraction form. Look at the bottom number. I need 4 of these diamonds. So I have this diamond equals 1/4. I have 1, 2, 3, and 4. And each of these diamonds equal 1/4. So I'm going to write in each one 1/4. And again, if I was to add the ones on top, I would get 4. The bottom number never changes. So it would be 4/4, which also equals 1 whole. All right. And I know in the other problems they were connected and mine are separate, and that's okay. Sometimes they're easier to draw, but I still see, for example, in number 2, I still see 6 pieces and they are the same size. Same thing with number 3. As long as they are the same size and the shapes are not overlapping and they equal 1 whole, that's all that matters. All right, let's move on. All right, it says each shape represents a given unit fraction. Estimate to draw a possible whole, label the unit fraction, and draw a number bond that matches the drawing. The first one is done for you. So let's look at the one that's done for us. So now this time they show us a shape and the fraction. They want us to do the shapes showing 1 whole, just like what we did in the last problem, but now they want us to add a number bond. Okay, so here they had 1/3. They did that this shape equals 1/3 right here. They looked at the bottom number. They looked at the bottom number, which is 3. They have 3 of the same pieces, 1, 2, 3. And then they did a number bond. They put 1 as their whole, and then they put 1/3 in each one. 1, 2, 3. So basically, they just took each shape and put it here. They have 3 of this shape. They are going to have 3 circles that have 1/3 because each shape equals 1/3. All right, let's look at number 2. So this shape right here is going to equal 1/2. And I'm going to look at the bottom number, which is 2. So I need to have 2 of those pieces. Oh, there we go. I can move 1/2. So 1/2 and 1/2. I have my 2 pieces. Now I'm going to do my number bond. So 1 is my whole, and I'm going to have 2 circles because I had 2 of my shapes. And I'm going to write 1/2 in each one. All right. Let's look at the next one. So let me zoom in. So number 7 is 1/5. So this shape right here is 1/5. Again, I'm going to look at my bottom number. I need 5 of these pieces. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm going to label each one 1/5 because that's the fractional unit. Each of these rectangles equal 1/5. And this shape shows me, these 5 pieces show me that it's going to equal 1 whole. Now I'm going to do my number bond. So 1 is at the top, and 5 1/5 equal 1 whole. Each circle represents the rectangle that equals 1/5. Circle here. And 1/5 in each circle. Thank you for being patient as I write this in. There we go. And that's the problems. There we go. All right. And that's all for week 5, day 5. This material is starting to get a little bit harder. Week 6 and week 7. It's going to be things that you might have not seen before, but we're going to work through it together. If you have any questions, please, you can reach out to me or Miss Fifield or Miss Fisher, and we are more than happy to help you. If you haven't picked up your week 6 and week 7 packet, they are now outside of Tubman from 8 to 2 o'clock, so make sure you pick up your packets and you're working. All right, and I will see you guys for week 6, day 2. All right, bye.